I wanted to go this long talk of defunding the FBI, and I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a babbling idiot. I don't even think that she believes all of the stuff that she says because I'm trying to give her credit of being a functioning human being with a brain, right? I truly think that she just took the Donald Trump formula and realized that she's in rural Georgia and a lot of people flock to that. So she just says outlandish, wild shit. But then again, because she's from rural Georgia and I don't even know if she's from rural Georgia. I just know she represents rural Georgia. And maybe she's just as stupid as the people that she represents. Okay. I shouldn't say stupid. I should say disillusioned. Um disillusioned, yeah. Yeah. Because if I call you stupid, you're not gonna want to hear what I have to say. And for those people who are disillusioned, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would love to have a conversation with you to make you a bit more aware of what's happening in the world outside of your disillusioned bubble. But at the same time, it's hard not to call these people stupid because you can't say back to blue and defund the FBI in the same 6 months. Okay, you can't do it. And I know I'm about to be a hypocrite, and I'm gonna make fun of you because you're backwoods and you don't read. And I just talked about people working hard all day and not having time to do anything. Yep, hypocrisy creates confusion, and sometimes on this podcast, I'm a hypocrite and I'm confusing. But it's not my responsibility to lead you to water or make you drink. But I got some good sweet water right here, and if you drink it, I promise you, you'll feel better. It's not an ad for Bud Light strawberry seltzer. They don't pay me shit. But I'll tell you what will when you have people who are against an institution because that institution is doing their job and you're not taking the time to understand it and you're only bothered because they came after your guy, you're an idiot. This is no different than people in Atlanta mad at the Atlanta DA for going after Thug, YSL, YFN, and the other groups that she's supposed to be going after with these RICO cases. You're so much of a fan. Well, you know what? That's what fans are. They're fanatics, right? They don't have reason. They don't have common sense. They're so caught up into who they support that all they care about is the person that they're supporting and not what that person has done. Not the actions. It's the referee screwed the Falcons. Not that was a terrible play call, and he's not good. So same here, where you had these loud calls against President supporting President Trump against the DOJ and politicizing somebody who has allegedly broken the law. Now, the precedent is that we don't go after former presidents, but the precedent hasn't been that former presidents rebel in the way that President Trump has. He didn't make any friends with most of the media by calling out so many people by name, so many different outlets. The fake news media. You say that enough, you try to shit on somebody and say that they're not credible, and this is what they've dedicated their life to. They're probably not going to cover you in the most favorable way because we live in, despite what social media will tell you, despite what you do on your devices, we live in a people world. Like every business is people business, and people and relationships is what gets stuff done. It's not. It's. I promise you. It's a lot about how good you are, but it's more so about who you know and how you make those people feel and what can you do for them and what can they do for you. So You know, D. Treasy 44, he didn't help himself out with many elected officials, many nominated officials, many different entities within Washington, D.C., and he definitely didn't help himself out with the media. So when you give somebody an inch, they will take a mile because you definitely took your pound of flesh when you could. So Mar-a-Lago gets raided because there's classified documents there, documents that should not have left the White House. They should have been turned over to the National Archives. They weren't. Uh, DOJ tried to get them, tried to get them, tried to get them, tried to get them. Apparently, there was some stuff turned in, but everything was not turned in. We don't know why President Trump kept these things. And I'm not really going to get into the why he kept these things, right? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. But what I do know is it's against the rules. And with the other attacks coming his way, it probably would have been in his best interest to just turn this stuff in. Just turn it in. It gets them off your back. But instead, now you're giving people a reason to attack you and come after you. And the raid happens. They wait for him to leave so they don't have to worry about the BS, and they raid. Then he goes public. He lets it be known, you know, trying to win in the court of public opinion. His cronies, they start going crazy. And then the warrant gets leaked. And then, they find out that he's being investigated for violation of the Espionage Act. And, it's not traditional espionage, but it's also used to prosecute cases for, in the mishandling of classified information. It's espionage, but it's not like most people would think espionage, going back to the Espionage Act of 1917. 1917, yeah, after World War I, where it was more so where these were people who we thought were, anti-America or taking actions that weren't in the best interest of the country. But it, it's a slippery slope here for President Trump, because if they found those items in his possession, no matter if he used them as leverage, if he tried to sell them, if he leaked them, it's not about that. It's about him taking them to places that they couldn't be. And believe it or not, if he were had a lesser role in the United States government, it wouldn't have taken this long. It probably wouldn't have been this loud. And he probably would be behind bars, waiting a trial date. But because he's a former president, we don't want our government to seem unstable because of that. And that's why it took longer, but it still had to happen. So for those who are like, well, if this was me, it would have, yeah, but you're not former president. And there's a certain respect that the office receives, and we want to keep that respect level there. So, we handle these situations much more delicately, because the last thing that we want to do is show the world that we're electing corrupt leaders. We're electing leaders who don't have the nation's best interest at heart. We don't want to project that. But pig is pork. And if pig is pork, we should act accordingly. Okay. So I hear that a lot of the Trump supporters feel that their guy's being targeted. That this is a ploy to stop him from running in 2024. Maybe. But it goes back to using the rap lyrics, right? If he's guilty of what they said he's guilty of, then they're doing their job. Sorry, cords got caught up. But no, it's if he's guilty of mishandling our information, and some of the other things that we think he may be guilty of, and he's not the best candidate for this country. He's not the best president for this country, and there are legal, like legitimate legal reasons. Well, yeah, it's not politicizing it. It's just doing your job. And maybe if there was no interest in him running, you handle it a bit more covertly, and you know, you just try to get your stuff back, and you do that, and you keep it pushing. But you got somebody trying to make another run at the presidency. People weren't happy about it. And, some people on the right are saying this may be the left, but for all we know, it could be some power players on the right who were also dissatisfied with the way the office was being ran when he was there, the way that they were being treated, and the direction of the party. And they're trying to get their party back. Because I do believe that there are a lot of true Republicans, moderate Republicans, even like right wing Republicans who don't like the direction that the party has taken, and they want to get their party back a bit more stable. I'm not speaking to the likes of a Rand Paul who's calling for the repeal of the Espionage Act. Convenient to call for the repeal of the Espionage Act when it's your boy that's getting caught up in it. If you really had the strong belief in the against the Espionage Act, you maybe should have taken some action, drafted some legislation, try to get it moving. I don't know, years ago. You've been there forever. And I hear a lot of the Trumpers saying that they think their guys get attacked. And it's one thing to get attacked for no reason, but like, John Gotti got investigated multiple times. He went to trial multiple times because he was guilty of multiple crimes. And just maybe, the new Teflon Don is being attacked on these multiple fronts. He's being attacked all these different times because he's guilty of committing multiple crimes. Maybe. Am I crazy? I don't know, but let's pivot out of politics. I got a lot going on here.